you. Now, let's go to these beautiful young ladies, very smart millennials and conservative young girls. Laura Southern and her friend here, what was that, Brittany Pettibone or something like that, who's also another YouTuber. They're out in Ireland, they were covering the G20, etc. in Europe. Destroying the social justice warrior, real reporters, they're real reporters. But let's go to these young ladies discussing, hey, relationships, wow. Young girls who are actually smart and don't pimp themselves and whore themselves out to any horny little penis that wants to run around and bang them. They get to be smart about who they have a relationship with. Let's hear some of these young ladies talking about the consequences of trading up.
Northern Ireland, and we were planning on doing a video on Northern Ireland, but we figured out things were a little spicy here and didn't want to piss off the entire internet before we learned a bit more. So we're going to postpone that, and then instead we're going to be talking about something a little different that's usually not on this channel, relationships. Woohoo!
Yeah, we've actually had, I don't know about your comments, I actually think I've seen some because I watch all your videos, but in mine as well, when people ask for these kind of topics in videos. So we're going to try our best, and hopefully you enjoy it.
And yeah, I want to reiterate that we are not the experts on this. We are working our way through this entire mysterious world of relationships as well. But unlike a lot of the videos you'll see on YouTube, where it's just kind of literally making it up as they go, we get a lot of our knowledge from the past and from statistics and research and what has worked historically for people, more conservative traditional values. And a lot of relationship videos you find are more liberal, new age, just random, whatever people feel should be relationships kind of videos.
Like monogamy is impossible, stuff like that. But it's also, like a lot of good advice from people who've had successful relationships that we know. So, and that gave it to us, and then you have to trust them because, they've been married 50 years, so they've got to know something.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about a very specific topic today that I think is something that's really pertinent to a lot of young women and modern relationships, and that is this idea of trading up. Now, do you want to explain it?
No,
okay.
You go ahead, yeah.
So the idea of trading up is basically when you're in a relationship, you'll be constantly looking around for the next best thing. You'll be saying, the guy I have right now is pretty good, but that guy has all of the traits of my current relationship and is more handsome, has more money, or potentially could be more interesting, or I could just get more excitement in that honeymoon phase again, and constantly looking for the next best thing. And it's just an idea that has swept the minds of young women these days and is just constantly ruining relationships.
I think like the trigger to it was the fact that we're all connected throughout the world now through social media. So you have access to every single person in the world pretty much, or everyone, in your age group who's available, whatever. But then I think that there can be an actual correlation drawn between the fact that our society, it's completely run by consumerism as opposed to people producing things. We consume far more than we produce. And it's like, you're always out for the next best thing. You're sick of what you have and you need more. There's very little satisfaction, or it's very temporary. And it almost extends to people. We need to consume people. And, then we're with them and we're super happy and, you're high on love or whatever you want to call it. And then you get tired after a while and you need to find the next person. And it's like consuming each other. And
there's actually
That's a really great
that
point. That girl just made an excellent point. She made a very good analysis to tie it with consumerism and how we get bored of a product and we want a new product.
Yeah, a new iPhone, better iPhone.
And we're trained to do this. Oh, we got the next best thing, next best thing. I don't want the next thing. And excellent point. She's saying that extends to people. That's the reason why young people fail in relationships, is because as soon as they get bored, they want to search for the next best thing, like as if it's consumer. And I love it. They're consuming people. They're exploiting people.
Yes.
How much benefit you can give to me, and then once you don't give me benefit, you don't make me feel that way, I'm leaving you and giving another. You're consuming people. You're a predator. You're evil. You're not building up this person. You're not helping that person, and you also grow together. You are consuming that person, you're exploiting that person, you're a selfish vampire. And that's why, of course, all these relationships failing in the world. That is an excellent point made by a young millennial
Yes.
who looks like a liberal trendy, but she's
But
actually
she's not.
smart.
When people
smart.
have more options, they're less
Imagine
happy.
that.
So I can't remember the exact study. I'm sure people in the comments will give me crap for this, but they gave kids the option
Look at that.
of going home with
Look at all that vegetable variety. Okay, they're making a point now of variety. And varieties can actually paralyze you and make you less happy.
different color shirts or two different pictures
Too much
or
variety.
paintings or something, and versus kids who were just given one. And the kids that were given two options and got to pick one were more dissatisfied because they kept thinking, what if I could have had the other one?
Yeah.
What if I would have been more happy with the green shirt or the red shirt,
It's really
right?
true. It's like me, like you go to the store and you're in the candy aisle, for example, and there's like a wall, and you're like, what do I do? And you're there for like 15 minutes because you just
Yeah.
don't know because you have so many options, but that's how it is for everything, and it extends to people.
So with those 10,000 relationships you can swipe through on Tinder or Bumble or whatever, you're always thinking, what if I could have that person? Especially because there's no commitment or real morals or values connected to dating anymore. So it's like, not only can you pick all these other things and go back and pick up the other shirt, like you could in that experiment or the other picture,
Yeah.
but there's no shame really connected to it. So it's like people just throw away their boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, and then upgrade to the next thing. But there are consequences.
Upgrade to the
this.
next thing.
Yeah. I think back then, you dated for a purpose. There was a purpose
that's so
involved.
true.
It was to seek out
I like
a
how they're
potential
expressing
partner
it. It's
for
true.
marriage, and that's what it was. Nowadays, a lot of people just date to have fun, and so the goals are very different, and that's why a lot of them don't last or whatever. But yeah, as I said back then, it's like right away you're kind of vetting the person. Could this person potentially be someone I spend the rest of my life with? And that's why also they're more successful because.
And that's the thing, people, when we talk about the idea of trading up, it's not trading up because you're saying, I think this person would be a better father. That's almost never the idea of trading up. It's almost always superficial things that are not going to last, like looks, he has more money, or he has more social hierarchy status, is more popular on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
And these kind of things, they aren't the glue that keeps a relationship
Yeah.
together forever.
Because if you're with someone because they're in a really powerful position or whatever, what if they lose that position? Then is it over? Or what if they're really handsome? Then what if they lose their looks in some accident? Or eventually everyone does, with age. Are you going to leave that person because they're not good looking anymore? Like, there's a lot of these things that they just don't last. But what will last are personalities, at least for the most part. So that's why some of the best advice I've ever gotten is marry your best friend, or be in a long-term relationship with your best friend. Someone that, when all of those superficial things fade away, like looks and a high position or whatever, you're at least still with your best friend. So you're going to actually get along and it's going to last.
Exactly. And I really...
That's a very important point too, because, for example, the Queen is my best friend. And we were talking about this the other day, because we had Emo and we had Mickey was here, and I was training them in jiu-jitsu, getting them some extra training, especially because they have to help me with assisting when we get the bigger groups coming in from Asia. Mickey, she speaks 3 languages, etc. So she helps me do the teaching and instructing the young kids, especially the girls that come from Asia, Japan, Korea, etc. Because I can't speak fluent Japanese. So I'm training them, and I'm saying, look at you girls. You girls are in your 30s and 40s, but look how fun your life is. Look how exciting your life is. You girls are training this kind of stuff at this age, and with your kids. And you can only do that because you had your kids early, because they used to bitch and complain about, I had my own, I had my kids early on, this kind of stuff. Now they realize why fathers had kids early. Because you can live your life with your kids. You can unlock all these adventures and opportunities with your kids. And you're not some 60-year-old, person with dilapidated bone structure, and you can't even lift up your dang kids. And when you have your babies, you can live with your kids. You can go on adventures. You can take them into the world and explore and do all these kind of things. You got to unlock opportunities together. This is why Father said have children early. Not only that it's physiologically better and it's easier for your body to recover, it's actually more normal to have children earlier. As opposed to the Satanic Society said, don't do it. No, don't have any children. It's better than have no children. And if you're gonna have children, have it when you're like 45, which is very dangerous for your body. And it sucks because by the time they're 20 years old, you're freaking 75 or whatever, 65. You can't do crap with them. And they think you're some kind of old fogey. Whereas I can still whoop their booties so they don't think daddy's an old fogey. They think daddy's strong, which I am. Compared to them at least, okay? And so I was telling the girls that you girls are able to do this kind of training because they were having a great time training and pushing themselves and learning the finer details of stuff like that. Upping their level. And I say, you girls do this because, yeah, when you were in college, you were bitching, complaining about the fact that you got married in college, blah, 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 this kind of thing. And I had my children too early. Oh, my children stole my life. Oh, yeah, my marriage stole my life and my dreams. This is what is drilled into girls. Where in fact the children actually give them life, it helps them transcend their selfish narcissistic self, because if you don't have kids, you only live for yourself. Whereas when you have kids, this is particularly for women, because men, until you get about 3 children, since you don't have to bear the children in your tummy, you don't have a super connection to them. There's studies on that. But women, they have to raise a kid in the tummy, they can't separate from it, and they cannot live for themselves. And the fact of the matter is that when you're searching a mate, you have to look for the person who is going to be a good husband, a good father. Not just somebody you're going to play around with all the time and then have some emotional highs with. Like the Queen is my best friend. When I think about it, she is my best friend. We do almost everything together. She's now learning all these different things. She's training many, many different people without her even knowing it, indirectly. She's becoming a tremendous. She just, in so many different aspects. She's very high level in many, many different aspects. Even in dealing with boys now. The way she deals with the boys now is incredible. When I look at her, I say, damn, you are high level now. Very high level in dealing with boys. She has so much control, so much emotional control. She's so professional with dealing with boys now. She's not like this stupid, immature woman who's just bitching, complaining at the boys for freaking hours on end and just killing them psychologically, which a lot of these immature moms do, like Korean moms. They're called helicopter moms. They're nuts. They're immature children. But she doesn't do that. She used to when she was younger. But she's learned that that's not effective, and I've coached her through that. That's not effective in how you deal with boys, especially young boys, because they'll become more powerful than you, and you can't use brute force on them. It will stop at some point. That will be ineffective at some point. They will become stronger, bigger than you, and they will challenge you because you will be a wimp compared to them. If you try to use physical force on them, they will stand up to you and grab you by the throat and throw you on the ground. So don't do that. Learn how to deal with them rationally, logically. Learn how to not be emotional with them. Learn how to keep promises and keep your conversation down to 5 minutes if you said 5 minutes, not 3 hours if you said 5 minutes, which emotionalized young, immature girls do. Because they're thinking in terms of girls, and that's okay in a girl world, but you're not okay in a boy world. But of course, this whole concept of trading up, this idea of consumerism, that we consume our relationships, and they have to keep us just totally on high all the time. And we don't invest, and we don't see a long term, and we don't build each other. And okay, fine, this guy's not perfect, that girl's not perfect. So what? You can make them into a different person. You can help them grow into a different person. Obviously, you have to grow too, but you can help them grow into a different person. You can help them to develop into your dream guy or girl. You're part of it. You're never gonna find some bum Or some guy with all the perfect things and all this, and the Hollywood stars and those stupid Korean drama, actors that the Japanese women fall in love with. Give me a break. Even if they had to live with those Korean actors, they'd grow sick of them and throw them out the window because they're narcissists and they're pathetic actors that lie for a living. I always tell the Korean women or Japanese women, if you had to live with those stupid actors, you would hate them just as much as you complain about your husband. You are living in delusion and you're trying to trade up when you know, you don't know, when it's proven that you'll be less happy if you break your marriage and try to remarry to another one. You'll be less happy. There is studies on that. You won't be happier. You'll have thrown away a good quality man who will actually defend you, take care of your kids, and is a good father, for some loser who you thought would make you happy, but it doesn't. And you realize that this guy still has many of the same issues. Same with guys. This girl is, whatever, not better than me. Then you want to trade up to another girl. Because she's a little hotter, or she's got whatever. Then you realize all these girls are the same. And you have to be able to work with the person and to be able to mold that person. You're not going to find Mr. Perfect, Mrs. Perfect. Never, never, never you'll find it. Never, never, never. The Hollywood things, lies. That's for propagandists and consumerism. I like how they put it. Consuming, exploiting people. That's not how you make success. Now, I don't know if these girls are actually married or maybe they're not. But at least they're taking a different approach and looking at real studies and real statistics. And at wisdom that has tested time, tested against the ages. Look at your mate not as something just to have fun and to consume. Look at your partner as somebody who you will build an empire, build a destiny, build a common future with, long term, who will take care of your children, who will take care of be a good father, be a good mother. These are the traits you want to look for. Not, oh, is he hotter than that guy on Tumblr? Or he's got this social status better than him. And, oh, he doesn't make me feel good all the time. So what? He can develop. Okay, he can't woo you like some predators can. Okay, the predators will woo you, but they'll be sleeping with 10 other girls. Now, obviously, no girl wants that if they're thinking about marriage. But they get wooed in by the predator because he knows how to work girls' emotions, he knows how to play them, and he knows how to use their emotions against them to get what he wants, which is sex. But don't you dare think he's only going to do that to you. He's going to be doing it to other girls too. So, even though that boy is not super Casanova at first, you got to look at the potential of that girl or boy. Does that girl or boy have potential to be a best friend? Somebody that you can work together with to improve. It's not like you're perfect anyways, young people. You ain't perfect. You ain't some dream to somebody. You got to be real with yourself too. You suck too. Don't be judging other people saying they suck all the time. And I was like, you suck too. In different aspects, you stink. In other aspects, you may be good. In certain aspects, he stinks, she stinks. In certain aspects, they may be better than you. But you got to see the whole picture when we're talking about having success in life. Your relationship, especially your marriage, is your key aspect of success for anything you do. If you have turbulence in your marriage, it's going to screw up and mess with all the things you're doing, including your whatever you're doing, work, career, education, children, whatever you do, it's going to screw with everything. If you got a terrible hellhole marriage, how many of those you've seen? You know you don't want that. You have to position yourself for success by being realistic with yourself and with other people. You're never going to find, quote, the perfect person that's going to woo you, Casanova you, be honest, be loyal, be honorable, all that combined together. You got to build that together. That's why the father's advice, true father's advice, is the most powerful. So much disinformation, so many lies, so much propaganda pumped into young people's heads, which is the reason why they fail so many times in the key aspect of success and actually happiness, which is relationship, and of course, the most intimate relationship, which is your marriage. Key. We'll be back with more of these.